Well, there's a shot that never seems to get old. Tombarnaschicago scene in the Fulton Market district. I'm here at Abba. And why am I here at Abba? Because I'm here with my friend Vince, who you're going to meet in 1 second. He hosts the show called V is for Vino. Right, Vince? Did I get that right?
Yeah, V
there
is for Vino.
There he is right there. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Happy to be here.
So before we get started, you call Chicago home now, and you are filming season 4 of your show, correct?
Yep, we're filming season 4 as we speak.
And you spent a little time in Chicago for season 4 at a couple of restaurants. Why don't you run through them real quick before we see talk about what we got going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so typically with our show, we'll go to wine regions, but Chicago just has a special place in my heart. I went to school here, I met my wife here, and we said, you know what, we need to do a consumer episode. So how to buy wine in a restaurant, how to talk to a somm, and plus talk about the amazing Chicago food scene. And so we went all over. Obviously went to Abba, which is where we are now, but we went to Gibson's Italia, Al's Beef, Lou Malnati's, Super Dog, and so we are all over the city in a period of a week filming.
So like you said, we are at Abba, so I just wanted to show the patio space here because it's wonderful, and talk about your parlay into the wine business, because you were a musician doing your thing that way for a while, and you kind of just happened to make your way into the wine industry. Talk about that real quick.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was trying to be a rock star in LA. Turns out a lot of people want to do that.
Sure.
But while I was doing that, I was in bars and restaurants, and I got into wine, took my certified sommelier exam, and I found that there was really no way for average people to learn about wine via video. You know, there were some people in front of their webcams in their apartments, but nobody was going to the place, to the wine region, the Bourdain of wine, essentially. And I said, you know what, that is something that I think people would be interested in learning wine that way. And so we started with season 1 in California, and here we are filming season 4.
So season 4, you did an episode, or part of the episode at Abba, and that's where we're here showing some of the food. But before I'm going to sit down with you, I'm going to hand this off to your lovely wife here.
Yeah.
Well, you should give her a shout out.
My wife is a huge part of what makes V is for Vino tick. She's the brains of the operation.
So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. So how does the show work for you? Like, what do? You talk about wines, but specifically we have some things here that you paired wines with, right?
Yeah, so most episodes what we do is we go to a wine region, you learn about that place, you learn about the grapes made there, you meet winemakers there, and then we go to a restaurant and we pair wines.
Okay.
The wines that we're talking about that'll pair with some of the local dishes, right?
Right.
But for the Chicago episode, what we did was we had a kind of unique opportunity. Obviously, they don't really make wine in Chicago, so we could pick from anywhere. And so when we came to Abba, we said, all right, this is a Mediterranean place, and they have a really amazing kind of Mediterranean wine list, so let's pair with some of those wines that we normally wouldn't get to talk about.
Right on.
And so what they made for us is, this is what they call their village salad. It's delicious, it's super fresh. It's basically kind of like a Greek salad. So oregano vinaigrette, tomato, cucumber, good feta cheese, red onion. And what you want with a dish like this dish has acid. If you think about like any salad, it's got either lemon juice or it's got vinegar that's acid, right?
Sure.
So we have a rule in the wine world, acid needs acid. And so you need a wine that has some acidity to it.
Okay.
And so Alex, the wonderful somm here, picked this wine. This is a Provence Rosé.
This is the same one here, right?
Yep, you got the same one.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. What am I smelling for?
Oh, you tell me. What do you smell?
I smell fruits.
I smell, fruit. I smell cherry.
I'm not doing that thing right, but that's fine.
There's no right or wrong.
Cherry.
That's why we start the show. Cherry, I get like watermelon-y, some peach notes.
Peach, I definitely have
peach?
yeah.
All right, so, you get these beautiful fruit notes, and when you taste it...
Okay, sure.
It's early enough, right? Or it's late enough, I should say.
Yeah, why not?
See how it kind of makes your mouth salivate? It's bright, it's really crisp. So that's what you want when you have a dish that has acid in it, because you need it to match the acid level of the dish.
Okay.
And so when we're talking about pairing,
let's do this.
Rosés in particular, I love with tomatoes. Tomatoes have a lot of natural acidity, and so does the rosé. And so it works really well. Like rosé is a great lunchtime wine. It's a great salad wine. It's perfect for starters like this, or for seafood dishes that are a little lighter.
Do you mind dishing that up for 1 second?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna go and get a fork that I put down right before we went on, thinking I wouldn't need the fork, but here I go. I'm getting the fork off camera. It's fine. That's how we go. Just because I'm going to try, I really want to experience what you're talking about in terms of...
And by the way, you don't have to freak out about pairing. People worry about it. We have a really good saying in the wine industry: if it grows together, it goes together.
Okay.
So when in doubt, get something from the region.
All right, good to know.
A Mediterranean salad like this, get a Mediterranean.
Where are my manners? I'm sorry. So do you drink the wine first, then eat, or you eat and then drink the wine?
Both and both.
Okay.
No right or wrong. What I'll do is I usually have a bite and then I'll have a sip.
Okay.
Some people like to do it at the same time, and you get kind of the melding of flavors. So however you want to do it.
I'll go both.
But the good thing about like a wine with acidity like this is, you know how we drink sparkling wine, Perrier, for instance? The reason you do that is because it has those bubbles that cleanse your palate. Well, the acidity kind of does that same thing. It cleanses your palate for the next bite.
Fantastic. All right, I'm going to do one more of this, and then we should move on to the next one. But, I mean, why not? It's beautiful out. It's a weekend.
And Abba just is lights out. If you're in Chicago and you haven't been here, everything they do is just phenomenal.
So is the purpose to really just have the flavors complement each other? Bring out?
You want to do one of two things. You want to complement or contrast.
Okay.
So sometimes what we'll do, for instance, if we have a sweet wine, we'll do a spicy dish. That's the contrast. But this is more like a complement because we have the high acid from the vinegar and the vinaigrette and the tomatoes. And so we're going to complement it with a high acid wine.
So what do we got next there? What's that next dish?
This dish
I'll move this back over here.
This is Mediterranean. Obviously, they're doing a lot of hummus. I'm Lebanese, so hummus is a big staple in my diet.
For sure.
So hummus is chickpea puree, and on top they do a braised lamb shoulder, and then they house make their pita bread here too. So this is pita bread with za'atar, which is like an Arabic spice. And the cool thing on the show is that every episode, not just this episode, you learn how to make these dishes with the chef. So I went with Chef CJ in the back, and we break it down step by step. So you can learn how to make this dish, and then we also talk about the pairing. So if you're worried about pairing, you start to learn.
So what are you looking for in terms of the wine to pair with this dish?
Yeah, so this has got the braised meat with harissa. This lamb shoulder has harissa in it, a little bit spicy. So we don't want a wine with too much tannin that is going to emphasize that spicy. We want to kind of cool it down with a fruity wine.
All right.
So this is Chateau Moussard. It's actually a Lebanese wine, so really cool Lebanese dish, Lebanese wine. And it's got a good amount of fruit character, not a lot of tannin. And
what do you mean by tannin?
Tannin. So tannin is that element in wine where it dries your mouth out.
Oh,
you ever feel the moisture suck out of your mouth? Your tongue feels like leather.
Sometimes coffee will do that to you.
Coffee will do it. Tea, really black tea will do that. Dark chocolate will do that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Walnuts will do it. But wine, a lot of red wines that are thicker skinned grapes have a lot of natural tannin. Now, tannin's good for some things, but it's bad for others. It's good for fatty foods, but it's bad for spicy foods.
Got it.
And so we like a low tannin wine, a fruity wine.
Cheers to that.
And
serve that up. And while you're serving that up, how did the Chicago episode come about? Like, how did it all work for you?
Yeah, so I luckily went to the wonderful DePaul University here in Chicago, and they have
in Lincoln
Park, and they have a school of hospitality that actually was able to put a lot of this together. So I partnered with them. They had a lot of really nice relationships with people on their board for that school. And
a friend of mine teaches there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sean Bush, everybody. Sorry, go ahead.
And so they really put a lot of this together. In fact, we film every episode. We do something called the Nerd Lab. So you just actually asked a great question. What is tannin? Every episode we do something called a Nerd Lab where I break down some wine topic like that maybe seems a little bit weird and esoteric, and we break it down in very simple terms. I put on a lab coat. It's kind of like a Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Nice.
And we filmed that at DePaul this episode for the Chicago episode.
That's great. I totally get what you mean by the tannin pulling back some of the flavor from that to kind of separate it. It really moves it around for you, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
No, exactly. And like I said, you don't have to worry. If you don't want to worry about pairing, one of the things we talk about in this episode is, talk to a guy like Alex, talk to the somm, ask their suggestions, tell them what you like. They're the ones who are supposed to know all that anyway. You don't have to know everything.
Best way for people to find your episodes from past seasons or future seasons?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way is on visforvino.com. So the name of the show, visforvino.com. On there, I have links to all the places you can watch it. You can also watch it on Amazon Prime. Seasons 1 through 3 are out, so you can watch any of those seasons. A lot of great episodes in there. Prosecco, Italy, Washington, Santa Barbara, Napa, Sonoma, Oregon, Mexico. So that's all out. And then we're filming season 4 now, and that'll be out early next year.
And he did shoot at Superdog this season, which is right by my house. So maybe we'll have to do a a part 2 for that one.
Let's do it.
Now that I know who you are, we can meet up there, have a good time over at Superdog. And before we get out of here, what's the wine again that you used today, just so people might ask about it?
If you're wondering, so this is actually Chateau Moussard's entry level, Moussard Gion, which is a Lebanese wine from the Bekaa Valley in Lebanon, and this is probably the #1 producer in Lebanon.
Wow.
But this is a really good way to try them. Their upper level wines are a bit expensive, but this is a really accessible bottle, and it's awesome.
Fantastic. And the other one there?
And the other one is Trien Rosé from Provence. Actually, we're doing a Provence episode in season 4, so you're going to learn all about rosé. And so this is, Provence Rosé.
Awesome. Well, cheers to you. Thank you very much. That is the Chicago scene for today. Look for the show, V is for Vino, with my friend here, Vince. WGNTV.com/Chicago scene to watch this episode one more time. Thanks.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. Cheers. I'm going to keep drinking.